Hello, guys, and welcome to another live stream with me, Professor Heather Austin. Today, we are talking about critical job search mistakes that you might be making that are holding you back from landing your ideal job offer. Plus, I'm going to be sharing with you a blueprint to career clarity. Now, give me a thumbs up if that sounds awesome to you. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you have not yet done so already. I see a lot of you jumped into the chat early today. Darlington, so happy to see you. Looks like you're joining us from Sweden. Hello, Tim, so happy to see you. From Canada, Helena is here from Southern California. I bet the weather's beautiful there. Lila is here from Texas. Kara Lee is here from Northern Colorado. Must be cold there. Marcus, so happy to see you. Joan is here. Catherine, happy to see you guys. I just want to say hello to all of you. Thanks for joining us in the chat. If you have not yet said hello, make sure you say hello. Let us know where you're joining us from today. We are going to cover some amazing content to help you move forward in your job search. So if you've ever been to a live stream of mine, you know that I share a lot of slides. I ask you guys a lot of questions. Excuse me. So make sure you jump into the chat, say hello, answer the questions that I ask you. We are going to have a blast. Now, this event is a kickoff event to next week's live 3-day LinkedIn mini series, which I'm going to be sharing with you in just a second where you can snag your spot for that. But this is kind of like just a jump off event to get us started thinking about our job search for the new year. Make sure that we're not making critical job search mistakes. And of course, to gain greater clarity. Now, my team is in the chat. They are going to be moderating the chat. They're going to be answering questions. They're actually going to be putting questions in front of me so that I can answer them for you. So if you have a question, make sure you put like question or some question marks or whatnot. And I'm going to share with you guys a little secret, okay? So normally Tori is here in the chat with us. She's preoccupied today. She'll be back here with us next week. I have to share a little secret with you, and I'm kind of proud to share this. I have my 15-year-old son moderating the chat, you guys. So say hello to him. His name's Tyler. Hopefully he'll say hi back to you. This is kind of like his first real exposure to the live stream. So we're going to see how he does today. Hopefully he does amazing. I just want to see how 15-year-olds work in a live chat. So say hello to him, you guys. His name's Tyler, and we are going to go ahead and get started. So I always share lots of slides with you guys. And again, pop questions in as we're going. I want to talk to you a little bit today about job search mistakes that you can avoid in this new year. Plus, I'm going to be sharing 7 simple steps to career clarity. Now, before we jump into all the amazing content, remember, this is a kickoff event to next week's LinkedIn job search blueprint. This is where we are going to be going live 3 days in a row, same time, same place. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys all about LinkedIn. So normally we try to fit this workshop into one day, but there is so much to cover when it comes to LinkedIn. I'm going to be sharing with you some of the newest and latest strategies that we are seeing that are working for job seekers. So make sure you join us for that. Go to heatheraustin.online/live class. I'm also going to pop the link in the chat, and then I will pin that to the top. If you are catching this on the replay, a lot of you mentioned that you couldn't be here to today's session, but you wanted the replay. I will also include the link for you in the description of this video. So join us for that because this is going to be an over the top event. Let me give you a quick rundown of what's happening next week. So day 1, we're talking all about LinkedIn profile optimization because that's the very first thing you need to do when it comes to LinkedIn. You've got to have that profile optimized, right? Then we're going to go on in day 2 to talk about how you can end that ghosting game. I got a message from a lot of you that said, Heather, I'm so tired of being led on by recruiters only to be ghosted. So we're going to talk all about how you can overcome some of those strategies. During day 3, which is Thursday, February 1st, we're going to talk about insider tips to becoming a thought leader. So this is really where I want you to start thinking about using LinkedIn to its fullest. posting articles, posting in the newsfeed, sharing videos, sharing your own thoughts. So that's going to happen next week. Well, then the following week on Monday, we're going to have a LinkedIn mini series recap where I'm going to be reviewing LinkedIn profiles. So use the link in the chat, use the link that I've shared. Thanks you guys so much for giving Tyler some love. Hopefully he's going to say hello to us and we can get to know him a little bit better, right? So day 4, we're going to be recapping everything. Use the link in the chat. Use the link wherever it is in on the screen that you can see, or go to heatheraustin.online/live class to sign up and save your spot for this event. This will also make you eligible for a LinkedIn profile review. And by the way, you guys, this event is totally free. And not only is it free, I'm going to be giving you guys some awesome stuff. So I'm also going to be doing giveaways during this event. So every single day, we are going to be giving something away. In fact, I think Catherine is here. She is so amazing. She is actually the winner of one of our scholarships from last time we held this event. So it's worth over $2,000. That's what we're going to be giving away on Thursday. And it's a chance to join us inside of our flagship program, World Class Career Academy. If you come and you interact in the chat, that's all you need to do to be entered in to win some of these amazing gifts. So notice we're giving away $50 Amazon gift cards on Monday, February 5th during the mini recap series. We're going to be giving a $100 gift card. Thursday, February 1st, we're going to be giving a scholarship to our flagship program. That's a tongue twister. So make sure you guys join us for that. heatheraustin.online /live class, or use one of the links in the chat. So here's the question that I have for you. I want you to really think about this one, because what I'm going to share with you today will hopefully help you move through this question. What's one thing holding you back from landing your ideal job offer or your dream job offer? What is one thing? Now, we could say there's probably like hundreds, of things that are holding us back. But what's one thing holding you back from landing your ideal job offer? So pop that into the chat. While you guys are typing that in, I want to share just a few success stories with you. If you tune in and you stay with us today and you listen and you take notes and you put into place what I'm about to share with you, these success stories can be your success stories, okay? So Eric wrote in, he's an investment banker. He wrote in recently and said, hey, after using you as a resource for creating and optimizing my LinkedIn page and my resume, I have been highly sought after. He goes on to say that he applied for 10 jobs and got 10 hits and was given interviews with all 10 of those jobs, okay? Who doesn't want that? How amazing is that? And then Leah wrote in, and she said, I lost my job due to COVID last year. I was applying for jobs when I could, but I wasn't getting results. She said, I came across you on YouTube and revamped my CV according to your template and watched your videos on interview prep and the one-on-one job interview confidence training, which, by the way, we do all of that here. She says, I've just accepted an offer for a project coordinator role at a great employer. Now, here's what I love about what she said. She says, this means a lot to me and my family that I'll be bringing in the money I wanted and working hybrid. Okay, one more success story with you guys. Chuck wrote in, he is a chief manager. He says, because I implemented your advice offered on YouTube, I have landed the job that I wanted that checks all the boxes. And he says, in record time, 3 weeks. He said, thanks for your YouTube channel. It's extremely impactful, informative, and effective. I just accepted the offer and I start next week. So give me a big yes in the chat if you want to be one of these success stories. And by the way, when people email me, because we get these emails every day, I say, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Can I have a headshot so that I can share your story with others? So just prepared. I'm going to be asking you for a face shot because I want to share this with other people to give them encouragement. Now, to give you some more encouragement, here are just a few places that we have helped job seekers find jobs and land job interviews and job offers. Google, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Pluto, Intel, Disney, and these are just some of the big named companies. Keep in mind, you do not need to go and try and find a job at Disney or Google. There are thousands and thousands of companies out there that will hire you based on the value you provide and the skill that you bring and what you offer that are not big, huge, large companies, okay? So these are just some of the bigger companies that we've helped job seekers land jobs at. So we are on air, you guys. This is live. Turn off all your distractions. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Close all your unnecessary tabs. Grab a drink if you need one. And we are going to jump in. So before I share with you guys what I have planned for you, let me see where you guys are in terms of what's holding you back in your job search. I'm seeing a lot of yeses that this is all making sense for you. So Andrea, hello, so happy you're here. Says applying more strategically, frequently, and getting responses. I love that. So when we think about applying for jobs, we're not going to apply for everything out on planet Earth, right? We want to be very specific with the positions that we apply for. Let's see. LaShawn, hello, or LaShawn, I think that's how you pronounce it, says no feedback on why I was denied on the job or no response at all. This is the worst. When you apply for a position and maybe you think, oh, I'm the best fit for this job, no one tells you that you're either qualified or not qualified, or that you're not getting an interview or not getting an interview. This is one of the worst pet peeves. I want to create a video just on that topic. Jax, hello, so happy to have you. Says one thing holding me back, I haven't had a job search in 20 years. This is such a common problem, because if you've been in the same job, or maybe you've been in one job for a couple of years and that smoothly led into the other one, and you haven't had to go and put yourself out there, and it's been 20 years, where do you even start? So I would say, Jax, there's so many valuable videos on my channel, and I could tell you where to start, because we're going to dive into some fantastic content today. But start with my channel and start binge watching all those videos. Let's see. Yuling, hello, says, sorry guys, I'm getting over a cold. Was told jobs come from connections, but I am new to the country. We're going to talk a little bit about that. In fact, I'm going to share a template with you that you can use to actually start connecting with people online. Trevor, hello, says networking and applying. Yes, I love that. Okay, you guys, good. So good. Keep popping into the chat. What's the one thing holding you back from your job search or from landing your ideal job offer? I have more questions and more thoughts to share with you. So let's jump into what we're going to cover today. So we are going to cover why job searching in 2024 will be more difficult than ever. And by the way, I have a video that I shared just recently about this, but we're going to dive deeper into some of the concepts. We're also going to talk about how you can shift your mindset and your focus to overcome some of these challenges in the job market. We'll talk about the 7-step blueprint to gain career clarity so that you can outshine your competition no matter what the job market looks like. We're going to then talk about one simple, proven networking tip to elevate your confidence and connections. So I just want to say really quickly, Tyler, I'm not seeing you say hello in the chat. I want to see you just say hello to everyone. Oh, yes. Okay. You did share the link to the live class. Awesome. So good, buddy. I love you. A lot of people love you too. They're saying hi to you. So make sure you say hello back to everyone. And then of course, you guys get your questions into the chat. Tyler is going to copy and paste them into a document for me so that I can answer them. Okay. I want to know, before we jump into step one, what's one thing working well in your job search? So we talked a little bit about one thing that's holding you back. What is one thing that is working well in your job search right now? So type that into the chat, one thing that's working well for you. While you guys are typing that in, let's jump into what is happening in 2024 and why is job searching going to be more difficult than ever? So I'm going to share some thoughts with you guys. And you know, if you've ever joined my live streams, I'm always positive. So at the same time, even though we are looking at some challenges, these challenges are you're easily able to overcome these, okay? So, first reason why we are seeing job searching getting harder is, of course, economic factors and job market trends. So, we know that when businesses do really well, they hire like crazy and they bring a bunch of people on board and they have lots of money to hire. Well, when businesses don't do very well, they have to cut back. And that's when we see hiring freezes, we see job scarcity. So again, we in the job market, we are subject to what's happening in the economy. So that's just be prepared for that. The other thing I want to touch on with this point is I want you to be very focused on what's happening in your industry. So again, we see a lot of layoffs happening in the tech industry right now, right? Well, if you're in the tech industry, where are some other places that you can go where you can still use your skills, still use your abilities, so on and so forth, okay? So really think about that as we're going into this new year. Now, the other thing I want you to consider is technology and advancements in AI. So we know that artificial intelligence is kind of revolutionizing everything right now, including is your resume being read? Are you interviewing with an AI recruiter? There's a lot of AI happening in the job market and in most positions. Now, here is what we are finding. And I have a video coming out in a couple weeks all about this, where companies are not only using AI, but they want their employees to know how to use AI. So if you have not taken some sort of course on how to use AI, just in general, just how to use ChatGPT, how to use Bard, whatever the AI tool is that you're using, you need to take some course in this and add it to your resume and talk about it in your job interviews, because companies are not only implementing that tool, but they want their employees to know how to use it. Now, I'm not saying you have to be AI engineers or you have to be an expert in AI, but you need to know how to use it, okay? In fact, I was watching I have a friend who was on a news channel yesterday. She was on, and the two gals were interviewing her on the news channel, and they brought up ChatGPT. Well, one of the girls said, "Oh, it's not just a dating app anymore, huh? It can help you find a job." And I was like, "Oh, she doesn't even know what ChatGPT is," because she said that. And I was like, "Oh no." So if you don't know what it is, it's never been a dating app, number one. But number two, it's definitely going to change everything you do with your job search. We have so many trainings on the channel that talk all about ChatGPT. So watch any of those videos because it will really help you. But you have to know what it is and how to use it. Now, the other thing that we're finding in terms of how is this going to get harder is your ability to conquer the ATS and get noticed. So you have other job seekers using AI to help them with their resume, their cover letter, so on and so forth. You have to be so good at turning your resume into an ATS-friendly document that actually gets noticed. And by the way, we have so many trainings on the channel about that as well. Now, the other thing why job searching is getting harder is because of increased competition. So we're looking at the global market now, right? So if I go and apply for a job, and maybe it's a remote position, I'm not just competing with people in my neighborhood or in my state or in my city. I'm now competing with people like someone was in here earlier from Sweden, Tim from Canada. We're competing with each other because the market has gone global. So it's even more important than ever for you to be able to stand out so that you catch their attention. The other reason why we are seeing that job searching is getting harder is because there is a mismatch between the employee's skill and what employers demand. So if you guys go to a job posting, let's say, this job posting is going to list 100% of what the company wants, right? Well, the company knows, or the person that wrote the job posting, they know, hey, look, we're not going to get someone with 100% match. That's a given, but they're going to put it all out there anyway. And then they're going to decide what's the most important in that job description, and do you have those skills? So you really have to evaluate if you're lacking a skill in some way. How can you improve that skill? How can you gain a greater knowledge or education? Is there some sort of webinar or class that you can take? And by the way, I will say this. Most companies, they can find talent and people that have skill, but guess what they can't find? They can't find people that have character, that have personality, that have commitment, okay? Those are all personality traits. So again, I want to add that in there. That's one thing you really need to focus on in your job search this coming year. And then finally, which a lot of you guys have already mentioned, is networking and referrals. This is the most important part of the job search. And I probably need to do a 3-day training just on networking and gaining referrals, because we know hands down that companies hire employees from referrals over job boards any day. Okay, if they get 100 applicants that come through the door, and let's say all 100 of them are really good qualified candidates, maybe 1 or 2 of them came from a referral. Well, guess what? They're going to go to those 1 or 2 first before they go and look at or consider the other 100 people that might be really qualified for. So again, these are thoughts I want you guys to think about. Take a screenshot of this if you want to. In fact, there is a video on my channel. I put that out a week or 2 weeks ago that goes into detail into some of these. So if you want to learn more about that, make sure you go to the main channel page to watch that. Okay. Question for you. And I want you guys to like be a little bit silly, because we get super serious on this channel, right? I want you to be a little bit silly or really think outside of the box with this question. If you could try out any job for a day, what would it be and why? If you could try out any job for a day, what would it be and why? So I have 2 of them I want to share with you, because I'm totally terrified of heights. I actually would love to be one of those people that jumps out of planes, and like teaches people how to skydive, even though I would never do that. I wish I could do that. Like, I wish that's something I would do. The other thing I would do, which I would never do, but thinking outside of the box, is a brain surgeon. Like, wouldn't that be super neat just to go into that world and know that you're operating on someone's brain? And anyway, those are a couple of things I would do, but I really wouldn't do that, right? So think outside the box. Type that into the chat. I want to see what you guys come up with. While you're typing that in, I want to share with you a quick strategy to shift your focus and your mindset to overcome today's tough job market. Besides just tuning into this channel and watching these videos. In fact, someone had made a comment super early on, and the comments move a little bit fast for me, so I don't always see them. But someone had posted a comment about, hey, I tuned into this channel to write my resume and like got an interview right away. So again, tune into the channel, because if you start watching my past live streams and you start looking at like just what I teach, you will be those success stories. So, and it will shift your mindset and your focus. And a lot of people tell us that. So really quickly, I want you to embrace adaptability and continuous learning. Okay. So let me just give you a quick overview of what I'm meaning by embracing adaptability. So much has changed over the last couple of years in the job market. In fact, I have another video coming out in a couple of weeks that talk about some of those changes and what we've seen in hiring and firing and layoffs and all sorts of things. But if you can adapt to what's happening, especially in your market, you're going to come out as a top candidate. But if you can add continuous learning on top of that, and you can upgrade your skill set, upgrade your education, upgrade your knowledge. And when I say this, I'm not just talking about an actual skill, like a hard skill. I'm talking about your soft skills, your personality, your character, your leadership. If you can embrace adaptability and you can have continuous learning, this is going to change the entire game for you. Now, I did a live stream last month in December where I gave you guys some things like get comfortable with new software platforms, stay updated with your trends in your industry, upskill through online courses, participate in workshops. There's so many things you can do. And once you put your foot forward and you start doing that, what's going to happen is your mindset will change and you will have a new direction and a new focus. Okay. So I want to see where you guys are in the chat, but while I'm looking at that, remember, go to heatheraustin.online/live class. Tyler, pal, if you could pop the link in one more time in the chat. Looks like you are. Good job, buddy. I just want to see where you guys are in terms of your jobs. Someone said their chat froze. Oh, shoot, Catherine. Oh, I love it. Michelle says a puppeteer or an Imagineer for Disney. I love that. So good. Ahmed says a deep sea diver because I love sea animals. That's so fun. Valerie, a roller coaster engineer. Oh, I like that. These are good. I saw someone else at I love to cook and eat. In fact, I've shared this with you guys before. Tyler, who's moderating our chat, he absolutely loves to cook and wants to be a chef. I think I told you guys that last week. I love that. Tasha, thanks for sharing that. Kathy, a person who is paid to travel worldwide. That's awesome. Love it. Thanks, Marcus, Andrea. Thanks you guys for sharing all of your awesome, what would we do for a day, right? But maybe only for a day. Okay, so heatheraustin.online. Here's a quick glance again, you guys, at what's happening next week. Day one, we're looking at your LinkedIn profile optimization. So I'm going to share with you exactly what you need to optimize and how to do it. We're going to talk about on day two, how to end that ghosting game. And I'm going to share with you specific job search strategies that actually work. We're then going to dive into on day three, becoming an industry leader or a thought leader in your industry. So this one, I think this is probably one of my favorite days because we get all the nitty gritty out of the way and then we can look at how do we actually become a thought leader. And then, of course, on day four, we are going to do a recap. I call it a 3-day LinkedIn mini series because it is, but then I add a bonus day on top of that to do profile reviews because I want you guys to work on your profile, submit them for review, and then I pull them up on the screen and I answer your questions and we do profile reviews. And by the way, there's giveaways every single day. So all you have to do, like you're doing today, is type into the chat, hello, hi, I'm here, answer the questions, and then we randomly select a person and give you, and you get one of the amazing giveaways that we have. Awesome. Good. Jim says plastic surgery. Would love to salvage limbs. I love that. Okay, let's jump into step number 3. Now, this comes from, so this is going to be the 7-step blueprint to gain career clarity and outshine your competition in any job market. I have kind of my own spin on this, but I want to share a link in the chat with you guys because I was listening to a podcast. I don't know the exact name. I think it's called like Dream Job something. I want to say Dream Job Jumpstart, but I don't think it is. His name is Austin Belsack. I was listening to his podcast the other day and it totally inspired me. And I thought I have to share like some of this with my audience because I thought these steps were so clever. So I'm going to share his podcast, the link in the chat. I'll also put it in the description for all of those that are watching this on the replay. So I kind of took what he said and I have my own spin to it, but this is mainly inspired by me listening to his podcast. Such an amazing podcast if you are a job seeker. So I want to share with you guys 7 things really quickly. And I'm calling this like the 7-step blueprint because a lot of times we get super confused. I told you guys earlier, messages that I get all the time is I'm getting led on by recruiters and then I'm getting ghosted. I'm getting totally burned out by my job search. It goes on and on and on. So we are going to figure out a way to get you clarity so that this is not a problem, that you know exactly what positions you're applying for so that you can be some of those success stories that say, hey, guess what? I found the job in record time, 3 weeks. Okay. Just like Chuck shared earlier. Okay. So when we talk about career clarity or excuse me, career fluidity, what I want you to think about is knowing that your career is not, it's not a destination, it's a journey. I think a lot of us get wrapped up in this thought that, hey, I need to go to school, I need to get this education, and then I need to stay in the same job for 20, 30 years. Both my parents worked for the government. I became a university professor. I thought I was going to be a university professor forever before YouTube came around and all sorts of things. So I grew up thinking I need to stay in this job forever, right? Well, here's the thing. It's okay to be fluid. It's okay to try something for 2 years, a year, 5 years, and then change and do something a little bit different. We don't have to get set in our ways in terms of where we go with our career. I feel like the younger generation is a lot better at this than the older generation, right? Because we are seeing that if you're not happy after a couple of years, it's okay to move on. Now, I really want you to think about other industries that you could potentially move into, and just know that you don't have to be on that same career path forever. Now, the next part to this is crafting your ideal job blueprint. So I'm going to share an example of this with you, but last month I shared, we developed a brand new job search planner and workbook where I actually have you go through most of these steps. But when we think about your ideal job blueprint, you guys gave me some awesome ideas here in terms of what would that job look like? And we had fun with it, right? In fact, I see that someone says a classical dancer. Someone says a cloud architect. Like, we're kind of having fun with this. Someone said a skydiver. But when you're looking at your ideal job or what that day-to-day looks like, I want you to think about imagine that perfect job. Focus on your daily tasks. What does the work environment look like? What do the team dynamics look like? What impact would you like to make in the world? Like, really have a mental model of what that looks like. So I'm going to share a link with you in just a second where you can get the job search playbook, which, by the way, you guys, all these links and everything I'm sharing with you up to this point, these are all free resources that you can dive into and get started with right away. So my action step for you, and this is the exact statement I have in the job search planner and workbook, is describe what your day-to-day looks like. What is your ideal job? What type of work are you doing? What tasks are you handling? How does your typical work day unfold? How many hours are you working? What is the work environment? Like, we could go on and on and on about describing this. I really, really, really want you to do this, okay? If you can grab the job search planner, which let me share the link for that as well. And Tyler, feel free, buddy, to pop that into the chat. Yep, Tyler's grabbing that. So Tyler's going to pop that into the chat. As soon as he does, I will pin that to the top so that you guys can grab that. Also, this is located in the description of the video. So this is just one, it's like a 12-page planner, but on one of the pages, we really break down what does that ideal job look like. In fact, here is just a picture of the planner, heatheraustin.online/planner. So make sure you grab that. Let me pin this link. Thanks, pal, for sharing that. Let me see if I can replace pin message. Okay, so that should be up there for you guys. So you'll see that. Okay, next part to career clarity. And then I'm going to answer some questions here. Is showcasing your top skills and your strengths. So again, this is where if you can start thinking about what am I really good at, or what can I put on my resume or my cover letter or in my LinkedIn profile that's really going to make me stand out, and how can these skills relate to the industry? Like, for example, if I'm really good at like accounting, right? Am I applying for accounting jobs, or maybe I'm applying to be that chef, right? You have to make those skills coincide with each other. It has to relate to the industry that you're going into. So really thinking about how can you really show your strengths and your skill set? Now, I have another activity that I want to point you to. And in Austin's podcast, he actually mentions the Clifton Strengths by Gallup. Have you guys ever taken that? Let me know. Type yes in the comments below. I normally take my Academy students through a strength finder and an assessment. We use something a little bit different, but if you go to the Clifton Strengths by Gallup, let me pop this one into the chat as well. So you guys can click on that. I want to say this test could take anywhere from 30 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on how long it takes for the questions. But this is going to really measure your unique talents, and it looks at your patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. And then it rates you based on 34 Clifton strengths. So if you haven't yet done that, so for example, here's just on the screen, it's saying, hey, what kind of communicator are you? Or it asks you a question and you just rate it based on you strongly agree, or that strongly describes you, or it doesn't describe you. So go through that when you guys have a second to get an idea of that. Let me show you what that looks like once you complete the assessment. It actually breaks it down into themes. So this is very similar to, I have my students do 16 personalities. This gets a little bit more granular, and it is free. They do have paid assessments, and I think if you want more reporting, you can pay for more reporting, but I don't think you need to do that. You can just do this free assessment. It will show you a graph similar to this to show you what type of personality or what type of strengths you have. So it breaks it down into executing, strategic thinking, influencing, and relationship building. So let's say that I'm a salesperson, right? I would probably want to rank pretty high in influencing, like my communication skills, or relationship building. Okay, how much can I interact with other people, and do I have empathy and adaptability? So it really breaks it down for you, and then you can start to really pinpoint, hey, am I a really good strategic thinker? Well, maybe I do want to go and try accounting or whatever that might be. But this is a really good place to start. If you're like, I have no idea what I'm good at. I know I get a lot of emails every week from people that are just like, Heather, I don't even know what I want to do. So this is a really good starting point for you if you are in that boat. Now, inside of that job search planner, by the way, which is free for you guys, I have an activity in there where I have you list your strongest skills, and I have you list 10 of them, but I want you to list the ones that are most relevant to your desired industry and role. So really think about that. That again is in the job search planner. Now, moving on, and I have another question for you guys in just a second. The next step to this is networking with industry insiders. I want you to think about, and networking, there's so many layers to this onion that we could peel back and we could talk about for days. But what I want you to think about is just think about people that are already in your desired field or have a job title that you want. It could be people you know, maybe it's people you don't know that you're third degree connections with or second degree connections with. Maybe it's just random people that you go to LinkedIn and you search up job titles and you look at what they do and you say, oh, that person has a job title similar to what I want, or that person's doing something similar to what I want. In Austin's podcast, I can't remember how many people he says, but he says make a list of like 30 individuals or create a spreadsheet if you want. Okay, I'm big on spreadsheets, and plan to reach out to at least one or two of those people every single day. Now, I like to encourage my clients and my students. I like to encourage you to spend 30, 40 minutes a day on LinkedIn and reach out to 5 people. So I really want you to start using this as a tool for your career path because it's going to change everything for you. Now, LinkedIn is amazing for your initial contact, which I'm going to share a template with you in just a second, but then you can take it further from there and get their email, or you can even continue to interact with them through LinkedIn messaging. Now, the next piece to this is initiating those meaningful conversations. So we have the people that we want to contact. We have to make the connections with them very meaningful. So we need to show genuine interest in them and their career path and what they've been doing. Okay, this is definitely going to help as you go through this process. Now, I have a personalized message that I want you to reach out. If you're reaching out to someone, take a screenshot of this. This is sort of a version of what Austin shares on his podcast, but I changed it up a little bit because I wanted it to be short enough that you could put it in a connection request on LinkedIn. If I remember right, you only have 300 characters. You can make this even shorter. and whatever, even if you don't even mention their name, if you had to take that part out. So I came across your LinkedIn profile while looking for someone with your expertise. I was really impressed by your work in yada, 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 especially your role in, and then list the role. I'm currently exploring different paths in the industry and would love to learn about your journey from X to Y and Z, or it could even be from your journey from X to Y. If possible, I'd appreciate any insights or advice you could share. Now, tailor this message to how you would want to speak to someone. But this is a really, really, really good starting point for you. If you're finding these people on LinkedIn, you want to connect with them, right? So we're not just going to connect. We have to connect with a message. And I'm going to share with you guys during next week's mini series exactly how to do all of this. Plus, I'll be sharing tons and tons of templates with you. But this is just to help you get started. In fact, I would love for you guys to do this now and then join me next week for the mini series and let me know how it goes for you. So I'll give you just a couple more seconds to screenshot that. Let's see. The link to so the job search planner is at the very top of the chat. Let me pop that in one more time so that you guys have that. I know sometimes the chat moves kind of fast, and so that is sometimes it's hard to grab that. But this is the free version. You do not have to. This is the free version. You don't have to pay for the Clifton Strengths. They do have a free version. If you want more, I'll post that again. That link's in there as well. If you want more in-depth guidance and reporting, then definitely you can do that as well. But you don't need that. Okay, just a couple more tips on this. So we have our meaningful connections. I want you to experiment in your targeted field. So if you don't try something, you'll never know if you like it, right? Get your hands wet, get some experience with the industry that you might want to go into. I think asking questions is such a great way to learn more about the field. Like I know I've told you guys this story before. When I was first graduating college, we had an assignment where we had to go interview like 3 people in different fields to decide if we wanted to do that field. So I picked a child psychologist because I always thought I love children and I want to be a child psychologist. I picked a lawyer and then I picked an accountant. Well, when I learned about the child psychology, I learned you have to go to graduate school and then you come out of school making like $16,000 a year. And I was like, what? No way, I am not going to go to all that school and make $16,000 a year. Then when I went into the lawyer, it was the LSAT that I'm like, oh crap, I've got to take the LSAT to get into law school, and then you have to pass the bar. And then I'm like, I won't even have any time with my family because I'll just be doing this all day long. And then accounting, I actually learned that I really suck at accounting. So that I didn't do anything that I researched, but at least I went and I interviewed people in each of these industries to learn. And then once I got the opportunity to teach and go in front of a classroom, that's when I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. If I never had that opportunity, I wouldn't be teaching. So you have to be trying things. Now, in the podcast, and I shared the podcast with you guys earlier, he mentions some really good examples. Like if you want to be a social media designer or you want to work in social media, go and start posting 3 times a week or 4 times a week on social media platforms. Maybe you want to be a programmer. Well, go and try and build an app. There's so many different things that you could try with that desired field. And if you don't like it and it doesn't work out, that's okay. Don't be ashamed. Just move on and find the next opportunity. And then finally on this is knowing that your journey and understanding that clarity is a journey. Your career is not going to be this perfect path. You know, I can look at my parents who worked for the government and their jobs were safe. They were always employed. They always had great health insurance. And that was great. That was okay for them back then. That wouldn't be okay for me right now. So knowing that you don't have to stay somewhere, that you can move on and that you can try different things. Also, I would love to see you keep some sort of journal of your experiences. keep a journal of your rejections, keep a journal of your setbacks, reflect on some of the lessons that you're learning so that you can maintain that positive growth mindset. So question for you, I want to know what's one of your strongest skills. So I asked a lot of you if you had posted or taken the Clifton Strengths, and a lot of you said no, and that's okay. And maybe you already know what one of your strengths is. List one of your strengths in the chat. What are one of your strengths? And while you're listing that, let me see really quickly if we can do a question. Yes. Okay. So Richard asked about sharing the link to let me see. I'm highlighting comments now. So hopefully you guys can see that one. Let me post that again. Richard asked, will you be sharing the link to your job, to the job tracker? So Richard, I'm going to share with you guys a link to, for those that are still around. And this is not necessarily even going out to the entire planet right now. This is just for you guys because I know if you're here, you are serious about job hunting. I'm going to share a link with you where we are doing today only a flash offer for our career advancement toolkit that does include the job search tracker in it. So I'll share that link in just a second. But what is one of your strongest skills? Type that into the chat. And then the final thing I want to share with you guys is just one simple proven networking tip to elevate your confidence and connections. Just one. That's it. I'm not going to share 10,000 tips. Just one tip for this, and that is to personalize your approach and take the time to learn about people. Personalize your approach. Take the time to learn about people. So when I shared with you that template earlier, if you can think back to that, if you have that screenshot, notice how many times I am mentioning that person. I'm not necessarily mentioning me. I'm mentioning the person. I'm saying, I'm very impressed by what you did here. I loved your journey from you doing this and then going here. If you can personalize your approach to every interaction you have with someone, and you can really take the time to learn about them. And what does that mean? It means looking at their LinkedIn profile, looking at what their interests are, where they work, what their recent accomplishments are. If you can bring that into the conversation, this is going to create a genuine interest and it sparks that conversation. Not only that, it's going to elevate your connections and it's going to boost your confidence for when you're interacting with others. So take the time to learn about people. I can't even tell you how important this is. Now, last question for you before I jump into any questions that you guys might have. What's your biggest takeaway so far today? Type into the chat, what is your biggest takeaway so far today? Ahmed asked, are you going to be, let me see if I can get this on the screen. I love when I can get the comments up on the page for you guys. Ahmed says, are you going to be sharing the slides with us for today's presentation? Slides I never share. This is my proprietary, my slides that I put together. I reserve these for me and any live streams that I do. If you are a part of my academy, so my academy members know, sometimes I do share slides in there. But for the most part, I just share them here and that's it. I don't actually share them out to the public, but good question. Okay, let me see if there's any other questions that I can pop in. And I want to share one last special link with you guys. For all of you that are here today, if you are interested in grabbing our Career Advancement Toolkit, today only, this is today only, and I'm not even going to go into talking about it today because we do flash offers and we do things like that throughout the year. But today only, for those who are here, if you would like to join us inside of the Career Advancement Toolkit, there is a link for you to grab that. That link expires at the end of today. I know a bunch of you have already decided to join us and we're super happy to have you. But that's today only. Okay, so just know that that's there. Again, remember, there's still a lot of plenty free resources for you. We have our live mini series happening next week. So join us for that. We are going to have 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, of amazing content plus giveaways. And then the following Monday, what day is that? February 5th? We are going to be doing a recap session, and then I'm going to be reviewing LinkedIn profiles live. So if you want to get in for that, once you sign up for the live class, you'll get instructions on how to submit your profile for review. I won't actually be looking at the profiles until after the week's over, because I want to give you some time to implement what we are going through and learning next week. And then by that next Monday, we will do the reviews. So again, this is the schedule of how things are going to happen, with plenty giveaways, lots of fun things. This is so fun. We've done this workshop once before. It was last May. The replay, you can't get these videos anywhere, but it was such a blast. It was probably the funnest thing I've ever done when it comes to live streaming. So that, make sure you guys join us for that. And then we'll go from there. Yes, awesome. Steve, so happy you mentioned that. So Steve, let me see if I can get his comment up there. And then again, post questions if you guys have some. We have a couple more minutes where we can go through questions. Steve said, I already purchased the toolkit, was useful investment. Love it. Yes. Christina said next week, same time, every day. Yes, next week, the links to the training have not been posted. If you go in and you sign up for the training, you'll get all the links every single day delivered straight to your inbox. So that will be there for you as long as you go in and get your sign up for that. And we do also, if you're interested, we have not really yet started text messaging. We're going to experiment it with this, maybe not, we're not sure. But if you want to enter your phone number, we can do text message as well. But mostly everything I do is I communicate with you guys through email. Yes. Okay. Biggest takeaway is using LinkedIn as a networking tool. Thanks for posting that, Gifted Amani. I love your screen name. Good. Catherine, you're so awesome. She says the Career Advancement Toolkit is really cool. Yep, it is cool. It's awesome. Okay, let's see where else. Victoria said, networking and the importance of connecting and getting to know others, their stories that can help me move further in my career. I can't even emphasize enough how important networking is, you guys. It is the biggest game changer, and we will be focusing a lot on that next week. So as we get into like day 2 and 3, that's where we focus on how are you going to properly network, all that good stuff. Yes, good. Beth says chatting with people through LinkedIn and reaching out to people 2 or 3 a day. Definitely at least 2 or 3. And I would say if you need to do it a few days here and then take a day off and then another few days and then take another day off, don't burn yourself out on it. But once you get into the habit, it's definitely going to help. Good. Yep. Helena says, searching for a new job is a journey for sure. Yep. Awesome, you guys. Okay, that was such an amazing live stream. Remember, today only, if you want to join us inside the toolkit, you can. The link is in the chat and it will be down below. That's today only. But join us at the very least for next week's job search blueprint, LinkedIn job search blueprint. It's our 3-day live LinkedIn mini series happening same time, same place. 3 days packed full of information with amazing giveaways. Tori will be here in the chat as well. And then we will be doing LinkedIn profile reviews. So if you get your name in, you'll be eligible to enter your name for the LinkedIn profile review. And if you guys have any questions at any time, feel free to email me at heather@professораustin.com. Tori's also in the inbox with me every single day. So we get floods of emails, but she helps me kind of manage things, and we do our best to answer most every question that comes in. If you have questions, email me at heather@professораustin.com, and we will see you guys same time, same place next week. Thanks, y'all.